All right, folks, we are back. This is Off the Edge, and we are done with the regular season. It's been a fun
Ooh.
year, a wild year, and now we're looking at a wild card week.
Yeah,
That's a
week.
lot of W's, but we can't call it weekend anymore because there's now a Monday game for whatever reason. I know it's been around since
Yeah.
2021, I believe. It was stupid then. It's stupid now. So
Monday games, Saturday games, Jake. There's games all throughout the week, but hey, I love it for now. But I am glad we're getting towards the end of the season, Jake. This year's been a long year, some of the best football we've seen, but I'm looking forward to these playoff games.
yeah, I am too. And of course, we're gonna start things off how we normally do with the top performers. Cam, gotta be honest with you. I think this is gonna be a very tight bunch of games. I think just about every game I have is going to be a one possession game. Normally, that's football. I mean, you get an occasional blowout. That's not like a consistent thing that happens, but I think we're going to see a lot of one possession games. With that said, your guy, you love his seam ball. I think Jordan Love is going to be the top performer this week at quarterback. He's going up against a defense that creates a lot of turnovers, but Jordan Love doesn't turn the ball over a ton. Jordan Love does what he does is he's not afraid to, push it down the field, just like Brock Purdy wasn't in the 42-38 win over the Bears. And I think the Packers are going to need him. We'll get into that game, but I really think Jordan Love is going to be the top performer at quarterback.
Nice. I like that, Jake. Really quick, I'm going to go alternative that someone who's playing against Jordan Love. Even though I love Jordan Love, I'm going to go Kevin Byard. So I'm going to go straight to defense, Jake. I'm a defensive guy. I'm going to go Kevin Byard. I know he's done a good job of taking the football away. 7 interceptions on the season. He's leading the league. I mean, go figure. Just the fact that he's been able to switch. I think he was at the Tennessee Titans before, made his way to the Chicago Bears, and now he's cooking. I will say he's going to have his hands full with the Packers, with Jordan Love, but I have a feeling he's going to do pretty well. And Jake, really quick, I'm going to jump in and say my top performing quarterback for this week is going to be Trevor Lawrence. I brought his name up a couple times this year, Jake. I think I brought him up week 16. Him and Travis Etienne, they cooked that week, and they're playing against the Bills. And so they had a chance to clinch the AFC. And so I like them over the Bills, Jake. I got them winning against the Bills. I got Trevor Lawrence doing his thing. That defense with Josh Hines Allen really turning things up, right? You look at Liam Cohen, head coach of the year. He's up in the running there. But like I mentioned, Trevor Lawrence, my top performer. Those guys are really cooking. They're doing a good job, and I got them beating the Bills.
Just what we all expected, right? You go back to 2022 when we were doing Believe in Rams, and we totally expected Liam Cohen to be coach of the year candidate. We totally expected him to do all this. No, we did not.
Right.
We were on Liam Cohen's case a lot, but you just gotta give him his praise. He's really done well. And that team
at the Buccaneers too. Before he left, he was doing great there too.
Well, and then you look, he leaves the Buccaneers, and sorry, Cam, but I don't.
Same with
I
the
told
Lions.
you. I did tell you.
Same thing with the Lions, right? Ben Johnson left there, and they're just.
I did tell you, by the way, the Bucs would win, and then they wouldn't get help. I knew it. You
called it. You called it. I didn't think they were, Jake. I didn't think they were going to win, but it was sad seeing Levante David's presser, and he was talking about like, hey, this could be it. We're looking for the Saints to win. We might be rooting for those guys. He's like, I know some guys over there, but I'm like, y'all ain't gonna win. Then the Falcons fired Raheem Morris right after that. Like that was crazy.
I hated that, but that's a time for that. That's a story for another time. We move on. Running back, I'm gonna go Christian McCaffrey here. If the 49ers are going to make the upset here over the Eagles, Cam, you're a linebacker. You can't win games without linebackers. If they're gonna find a way to win this game, Christian McCaffrey's gonna have to show up because he didn't do that against Seattle.
Right. But
I believe he will.
Rushing. He had like 30 yards rushing. It wasn't great. And like 30 yards catching. Yeah, it wasn't great.
You can run on Philly's defense. We'll get more into that game, but Christian McCaffrey, I think, is going to have a really good game in the receiving game, in the rushing game. And, I think they're going to put Brock Purdy in a position where, he can thrive because of Christian McCaffrey. So he's my top performer at running back.
I like that, Jake. My top performer this week will be Kyle Monangai. Jake, you brought him up earlier in the season. I'm like, who is this? I picked him as a top performer, I think a few weeks ago, maybe week 14 or 15. This week I'm going to go with him. I'm going with some of the dark horse guys, right? People that you don't expect. I could have went DeAndre Swift. That was an easy layup, but Kyle Monangai, when it comes to the playoffs, teams are going to look to take out their top performers, DeAndre Swift, and they're going to make the guys that are the backups win. I think Kyle Monangai can win for this Bears team. He can get it done. Excuse me. They're going against the Green Bay Packers, so it's a rivalry there. It's a rivalry. So no matter if you look at the playoff or not, like that is a heated matchup. Ben Johnson going against the Packers in that team, but I think he'll put Kyle Monangai in a great position to win. And like I mentioned, Kevin Byard was my defensive player. So I like Kyle Monangai finding his way into the end zone, hopefully once or twice against the Packers, but it's going to be a shootout, and I'm looking forward to that game.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with Jakobi Meyers for wide receiver. I could have gone with the obvious one, Puka Nacua. I could have gone with an obvious one in, an AJ Brown in Philly. I could have gone with a star. Jakobi Meyers is just as good of a star because he's not a star, but he's consistent. We've talked about it. We talked about it before the season. We talked about it during the trade deadline. Like, this is somebody that the Bills could have gotten and was mentioned, by the way, in the presser by Sean McDermott. He knows they could have gotten him. They instead got Brandon Cooks. I don't really know what they were thinking there. They're throwing deep balls and jump balls up to 5'9" Brandon Cooks. I mean, I guess, to each their own, but Jacksonville has just changed. I mean, they've become a much better team since the acquisition of Jakobi Meyers. And I think he is going to be very key and critical. And I think he knows deep down the Bills could have come and got me. And they didn't. I'm going to make them pay double. Yeah. So, yeah. Jakobi Meyers is my top performer at wide receiver.
I like it, Jake. For me, I'm gonna go with the front runner, Puka Nacua. I want him to be the offensive player of the year, but hey, it might go to JSN, it might go to Drake Mayer, whoever else is behind Matthew Stafford. But just the way, in the argument that I like to share is just the way that he shared reps with Devontae Adams. He shared reps and he's still leading in receptions, still leading in yards. I mean, he's crushing it, and he's made Matthew Stafford look great. Jake, any pass that's thrown his way, he catches it. It's unbelievably versus the Cardinals. That smooth Michael Jordan like lob catch he had in the end zone, dude. That was sick. Like you just watch him play. That's like, if you want to win, throw the ball to 12. Like, throw it to 12. Fourth down, if it's third or whatever, if you need to have it, throw it to 12. Kind of like not saying they're the same, but Isaiah Likely is coming along really nicely at the tight end position for the Ravens. And I was just watching that Steelers and Ravens game, and Lamar was like, hey, it's 4th and 7. Who am I going to throw it to? He threw it to Isaiah Likely. He came down, double coverage, and I think Puka Nacua has more of that advantage where it's like, hey, if the game's on the line, I'm throwing it to 12. And Jake, he's not 6'7", 6'5". He's not, 4'2" and 4'2.9. Like, he's not running that. But he plays hard. He plays the right way. He's durable. And, man, I got him balling out this week. And, Jake, I hope the Rams don't lose, but if they lose, I might not have a chance to put him as a top performer. So I'm going to go ahead and do it now.
Yeah. And, I mean,
the Glaze session's over.
Well, I think you're right. I think he is Offensive Player of the Year, but I don't think he's going to win. I do think it'll be JSN. He's just been outstanding. And, Puka Nacua is just a different animal. I mean, I think it's weird because he's like betting odds. He's not even close. Like, it's going to be unanimously JSN, but the favorite, I mean, should be Puka. Like, everyone talks about Puka. JSN is popular. Puka is like super, super popular. Like, everybody was talking about him. They were trying to give him a catch he didn't even have against the Falcons. I mean, you saw it. Everybody was praying for that. So I'm going to go with the Ram here at tight end. I'm going to go with Tyler Higbee coming off a 5-catch, 90-plus yard performance and a touchdown against the Cardinals. Not too shabby coming off the IR. The Rams have lost 3 of the 5 games without Tyler Higbee. So I think with how much they use 13 personnel, they have half of their touchdowns this season in 13 personnel. And Tyler Higbee getting on the same page with Matthew Stafford right away in Week 18. I think he's going to carry that on. I've been saying all week, I think Tyler Higbee is the X factor for the Rams throughout the postseason, and it's going to start this weekend. He will be the top tight end performer.
I like that, Jake. And I could go back and say Kobe Parkinson. That's right behind him. I mean, the way he's scoring touchdowns, and I feel like Tyler probably felt some of that heat, Jake. I mentioned it. I'm sure Les Snead and those guys are like, hey, I know we got Tyler Higbee back. He's been here for 10 years. He's a staple on our team, similar to Rob Havenstein. Like, we need a guy like this, for this Rams team. But like Kobe Parkinson is balling out. And so he's finding the end zone. He's doing a good job with Devontae Adams out, getting the red zone. So I won't jump in and say he's my top pick, but Kobe Parkinson has been amazing. I'm gonna go on the defensive side, Jake, again. I'm gonna go Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. I'm going after Aaron Rodgers. I like them to perform really well. I know Aaron Rodgers gets the ball out really quick, right? You think about like Steph Curry and how quickly he gets the ball out of his hands. Aaron Rodgers, that release time is nasty. It's nasty, but I just think that Danielle Hunter and this defense, they're really going to get after it. I want those two to be my top performers. I was going to split it, Jake. I was going to put like Danielle and like TJ Watt or whatever, but no, I want those two guys to really show out. Similar, and I know got our Rams fans in the chat, but similar to Jared Verse and Byron Young, I think Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr., they're the best pass rushing duo in the league, and I think Byron Young, Jared Verse are number two. But, dude, good luck to the Steelers. They barely pulled one off against the Ravens. I just don't think they'll get it done against the Texans because of those two players.
Yeah, I'm in agreeing on that for sure. Derwin James, Kamari Lassiter are in my secondary for top performers. Safety, Derwin James. I think he's going to give Drake May some fits. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win, but I think he's going to put it all on the line. Derwin James, you could do a lot of different things with him. You can get creative with him. And defensive coordinator Jesse Minter is going to do that. So I expect him to come down with an interception, maybe a forced fumble. He's been on this top performer list before. You've definitely had him. So I think him, and then Kamari Lassiter is one of the hottest corners in the league right now, just absolutely dominant. He's actually outperforming Derek Stingley Jr., his teammate, who everybody would say is the star of that group. So I think really when you look at Kamari Lassiter, he's tied for the league lead in interceptions over the last 6 games. I mean, this is somebody that's playing his best football right now. And if he's up against DK Metcalf or he's up against, Calvin Austin, I'm going to take Kamari Lassiter with the way he's playing. I think that secondary is playing so well, and it kind of couples with what you're saying with that pass rush. The last two guys I'm going to throw out there, Edger and Cooper at linebacker, Cam. I think he's been balling out lately for the Packers. I think he's going to come up with some big plays in that one. And then Josh Hines-Allen. Anytime Josh Hines-Allen is playing against Josh Allen, things happen. And it's normally on the side of Josh Hines-Allen. So I'm going to go with him, top performer at edge. I'll let you have the Texans there. You can't take them every week like I want to, but I went with the Kamari Lassiter pick. I had to show the Texans some love, but I think Josh Hines-Allen is going to be your top performer this week. So do you have any final ones, or are we ready to roll?
Yeah, 2 more. Nate Landman and Olakun. You mentioned the Jaguar. Yeah, Olakun, 120 tackles this season. That Jaguars defense has been impressive. Lloyd over there as well. That linebacker crew has been tight. And then going back to Nate Landman, I know we got a lot of Rams folks in the chat, Jake. So got to shout out Nate Landman. Similar to Zach Bond, what he did to that Eagles defense, taking them to the Super Bowl, leading that defense. Nate Landman is doing the same thing for this Rams defense. So it's been awesome to see. I mean, crazy free agent pickup. It's been really cool to see him emerge as a captain and be one of the favorites pretty much for every broadcast. I mean, Troy Aikman, Tom Brady, all those guys are talking about him. They're talking about the land, man. And this has been really cool. Good storyline for this Rams defense. So I got those 2 guys.
I like it. Well, without further ado, Rams, Panthers, we're getting into this thing right away. It's going to be an interesting one here. You got a 12-5 team taking on an 8-9 team. Cam, I'll set the stage here. The Panthers have a negative point differential. The only team in this playoff that has a negative point differential at negative 67. They've also played one of the toughest schedules. Why is the negative point differential important? Well, the Rams are second, but historically, the last 3 teams that had a negative point differential, the only 3 teams that had a negative point differential, won their first game in the playoffs. Carolina is hosting the Rams. They beat them early on in the year, so we will see what happens.
Beat the Rams bad, Jake. They beat us bad.
Cam, when I went back and I watched that, I don't really think so. And that was kind of the surprising thing. What really woke me up was that Falcons game, I felt like was the only game Matthew Stafford was actually bad in. The Rams actually dominated the Panthers. They dominated them.
Except in the run game. I'll just say that. Because Chuba Hubbard, Jake, he was. I mean, the thing, it wasn't like a Bijan Robinson, because Bijan Robinson had like a 70-yarder and it like hurt our soul, similar to what Saquon Barkley did, I think 2 years ago, right? He that run he had in the snow when he was banging on his helmet, that was different. But I feel like the Panthers, they play more of like a heavyweight fight where it's like blow for blow. And Chuba Hubbard was running that football. And the only thing, too, is they had 10 yards rushing last week. So Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle had 10 yards rushing. I think that was a fluke. I think they're getting rested up, ready to go for this Rams team. And if I talk about Nate Landman, he's going to have his hands full because he's going to have to stop those two running backs if we want to win this game.
Yeah, it's a real interesting thing because, I mean, Blake Corum was averaging over 11. Kyron was averaging close to 6. They couldn't stop the Rams run game. When I went back and I watched, the thing about the Panthers, to your point, Bijan Robinson had the chunk plays. The Rams stopped him for most of the game except for those 3 chunk plays. They were just huge. Yeah. When it comes to the Panthers, the Rams were stopping them in a sense, like we're not giving up 10, 20-yard runs. But at the same time, they weren't, because if you Cam, let me ask you this. If you run for 5 yards a carry and you do that every single carry, do you ever get stopped?
I mean, yeah, you're getting first downs. You're converting, brother. You're converting.
You're going right down the field. Like there's no, you know what I mean? So if you're constantly getting 4 or 5 yard carries, it's setting you up for a third and manageable or a first down, and you're not even getting a third down. And that's really what the issue was with the Rams. And they gave up 3 fourth down conversions the last time they played this team. They didn't have Quentin Lake. I think this was the first game where you saw his absence was really felt. And they didn't have Tyler Higbee. And I think you saw the absence was really felt because the 13 personnel grouping was not nearly as effective as it was with Higbee in it. And in addition to that,
there's a lot of turnovers too. I mean, the 3 picks. I mean, Nick Scott, and that's the thing. Nick Scott, and I think that defensive line, Jake, that defensive line, they were getting their hands up. The defensive backs that formerly were at the Rams, Chris Roseboom, like those guys, they were just balling out. And we talk about the defensive coordinator, Evagiro for the Panthers. I mean, he's a former Ram as well, and I think they just outcoached the Rams that day. I think the Rams were like, "Oh, we're gonna go into the Panthers and do our thing," and they went there and just got smoked.
I think it was one of those weird games, but I think the big thing about the run game, the big thing is, from what I saw, Poona Ford, when he was on the field, he was only playing limited snaps because he was injured. When he was on the field, They didn't do anything. When he came off the field, they put in rookie Ty Hamilton. They did anything that they wanted to do. Poona Ford's good to go for this game. Higbee's good to go. Lake's good to go. Now, to be fair on the other side with the Carolina Panthers, they didn't have their number 1 cornerback in J.C. Horn. They still forced 3 turnovers. They didn't have Trayvon Merrick. They did not have Christian Roseboom in that game. They didn't have Chandler Zavala in the interior. They didn't have Cade Mays. So they had injuries too. So I don't want to make it sound like, the Rams are the only team that had injuries. They both had injuries. Yeah. My thing is, who's the more talented team? And I think it's pretty clear it's the Rams. And I think despite all that went down, because Carolina had to find a way. They had 2 touchdowns on 4th downs. They converted 3 of their 4th downs. Despite all that, the Rams had a real chance to win this game. They were going down the field, and then Stafford fumbles the football. And that was that. And so you look at that's a 31-28 loss. Like, it sucks, but there are worse things that could have happened. The Rams have been in 1-possession games in every one of their losses. They keep it close. I just don't see them losing twice to the same team. And to your point, they may have overlooked them. They may have said, you know what? Panthers aren't the they aren't the Seahawks. They're not the Bucks. Like, they went in and they were expecting a fight from the Bucks, and the Bucks never got off the mat, right?
Right.
This is a game that I think they may have overlooked them, but now it's the playoffs. There's no overlooking. They have their full attention.
Devontae's healthy. Jay gets a wrap. Like, red zone touchdowns, it's going to be up.
He had 2 in that game. So, by the way, fun fact, the Rams have a 60% chance to score a touchdown in the red zone when Davante Adams is on the field.
And that's not even count for like Kobe Parkinson, even Puka Nacua. Like, that's
Parkinson's
spooky.
a 59%.
Yeah. And so to that point, Jake, the Rams have to score in the red zone. I think that was an issue earlier in the season. The Rams have to score in the red zone. Can't get, even though Harrison Mavis, he's been doing his thing, Jake, but got to score in the red zone and take care of the football.
So, prediction time. What you got, Cam?
Okay, this score, I got Rams 27, Panthers 24. 3-point game.
Wow, you got a close one. This is 22 years to the date of the Panthers beating the Rams in the divisional round with Steve Smith in double overtime. Jason Sehorn fell down, Steve Smith ran it, and they beat the St. Louis Rams, and they went on to go to the Super Bowl and lose to the Patriots on a field goal. I am going to take the Rams in this one 30-20. I think Carolina is capable of pulling off an upset. I do. But I think this is going to be a better Rams team, and I think the Rams would be more susceptible to getting beat if they won that Week 13 matchup. But losing that thing, there's no way you can tell me that isn't on their mind, hasn't been on their mind. They're going to right their wrongs. I think they get it done.
Yeah, they're going to kick the Panthers' ass, Jake. It's not going to be funny. They're going to go after him for sure.
Yeah, well, we'll see. That's Saturday. Kicks us off. By the way, weird thing there. 4:30 p.m. Eastern time is the start time scheduled. However, there is a chance of lightning hitting right at that point. So this game might not happen until like 5:30. We'll see what ends up happening. I do think the Rams win regardless. The number 7 Green Bay Packers, 9-7-1, are going to be taking on the Chicago Bears at 11-6, number 2 in the NFC. This is a very interesting game, Cam. I want to set the stage here. The Packers lost a 16-6 lead with 5 minutes to go. There was a face mask on 3rd and 20 on a sack with 3:15 left on the clock that would have basically ended the game and set up a 4th and 26 down 10. Not in field goal range, game would have been over. But the face mask call bails out the Bears. I'm not saying it was the wrong call, but that's what happened. I think the Packers have more experience. They're going to miss Tucker Kraft without a doubt. They're going to miss Micah Parsons, their closer. They really missed him in that game. But Jordan Love beat this team. And then Malik Willis almost beat this team in Chicago. And honestly, he played well enough to win. I think the Bears are very similar to the 2017 LA Rams that lost to the veteran, experienced Falcons team. I think the Bears.
I was at that game. That's we got smoked by the Falcons that game.
It was a shame, but the Bears. It's been a fun story. I think it's going to come to an end this season.
That's sad, Jake. That's sad.
I mean, man, I think that they're going to be really good, and I was right about Ben Johnson. They have something there, but I think Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur, who I think right now is coaching for his job, Cam. I mean, they'd finish the season 9-8-1 if they lose this game. And with John Harbaugh out there, you got teams calling. I know there's seven spots that are available in the head coaching carousel. And what's the report? 9 teams have called. So there are 2 teams that have a head coach that doesn't know he's going to get fired or let go, and they're still calling about another dude. That's messed up. But I'm not saying I know anything about the Packers doing that, but I am saying I think Matt LaFleur has been on the hot seat all year. And I think they know what's at stake here. I have the Packers winning this game 24-23, Cam.
24-23, Jake. I got the Bears winning this one 24-21. Reason being, the Bears have been sick. That Monday night, I think it was Monday Night Football game with the Bears and the Packers. That touchdown pass to DJ Moore was probably one of the better games I've seen all year. I like the Bears to win this one, Jake. Ben Johnson, like I mentioned, we talk about Liam Cohen, Coach of the Year. Ben Johnson's the other candidate for Coach of the Year. I think he gets it done. I would talk about around. So we're back. Okay, yeah. DJ Moore really turning things around for that Bears team. He's been there for a while. He's seen their struggles and then also their progression with Caleb Williams. So I think they get it done, Jake. This Bears and then defense. Talk about Kevin Byard taking the football away. That whole defense taking the football away really nicely. So I think that they'll do it against the Packers. Josh Jacobs, if they slow down Josh Jacobs, Jake, I mean, Jordan Love is doing his thing, but, they drafted a Golden. He hasn't really scored any touchdowns. So you talk about that pressure that LaFleur is feeling. Well, I think whenever you panic, if you're panicking in the playoffs, I don't think it's going to work. I think the Bears are going to sniff it out and really, really make it shake. So I got them winning this one. Like I mentioned, 24-21.
So we differ.
Yeah.
It's early on, and we already have a different thing there. Let's move on to Sunday. We have the number 3 Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the number 6 Buffalo Bills. The Jags won 13 games this year after being embarrassed in London. Ooh. They didn't just get humbled. They actually, because you always hear that. We lost, so we're going to say we got humbled. No. Getting humbled, you have to learn something in that. And the Jaguars did. Rookie head coach Liam Cohen took it on the chin and said, we need to be better. We need to, fix things. And they've done just that. They've won 8 straight. They're outstanding. But can they hold off the Bills, who are surprisingly, but not surprisingly, favorites because they have Josh Allen at quarterback? I think it's going to be a really interesting game, Cam. Again, 8 straight wins. The Bills, by the way, 0-8 since before I was born in road playoff games. Liam Cohen and the Jags, like I said, humbled by the Rams in London. And the Bills don't have the offensive firepower, in my opinion, to go toe-to-toe with Cohen's offense and a rebirth Trevor Lawrence. I'm the biggest Trevor Lawrence critic of all time. Okay, I always thought that they anointed this kid way too early, and I never viewed him as like this crazy franchise quarterback. He's starting to look really good. And it's starting, he's coming back. I would give him comeback player of the year. People would disagree with me. Look at the shoulder surgery he had to have that ended his season last year, and look at what he is now. Definitely would give it to him.
He stopped running. He stopped running so much, Jake. Once he stopped running, I think we talked about it in the show, but I think you were like the staff told him to stop running as much, so he changed his mechanics. He started throwing more, and like you mentioned, bro, he's been looking tough.
Remember they told Josh Allen to do that, and then he was like, yeah, about that.
Right.
They both don't run as much, but you know what they do when they get into the red area? They already have it in their mind. I'm not throwing this ball away because I can outrun that linebacker. I can outrun that defensive lineman. I'm going to score a touchdown if they pressure me. That, I think, is really the interesting thing here about both of them. But I think this is going to sting for the Bills, man, because they're going to watch, like I mentioned, aforementioned, Jacoby Myers. He's going to be a huge X factor in this game. All the Bills fans know they should have traded for him. Not like they had any control of that. But, Cam, I'm going to go with the Jaguars. I'm going to go with Duval to win 31-27. I trust Anthony Campanile and that defense to force a turnover or two on Josh Allen. As I already mentioned, Josh Hines Allen's going to have a big game. You mentioned Alua Khan, who's a great linebacker in his own right. How about the guy next to him, Devin Lloyd? I think Duval moves on, and they are as dangerous as anybody in the AFC.
Yeah, I think the reason why the Jacksonville Jaguars win this game, Jake, 34-31, is because they forced turnovers on Josh Allen. He's capable of doing it, right? He'll throw the ball away 2 to 3 times and come away with the loss. He's done it before this year, but we just talked about some of those playmakers on defense: Lloyd, Louis Khan, Josh Hines. I mean, they're not even playing with Travis Hunter, and they're still doing their thing. So shout out to Liam Cohen and that young GM who they brought in. He's like, I think 31 years old. Other people are looking at him a little crazy, but they figured out a way to turn this organization around. So you think about the Jacksonville Jaguars, they really haven't had a winning season. So for them to get that done this year has been really, really impressive. So I think they win this game. I think the Buffalo Bills, I think it's a similar situation to the Ravens, Jake. The Ravens have not won in the playoffs like that. Same thing with the Bills. So I have a feeling with Sean McDermott, he might end up like your Harbaugh brother, where he's taking another position somewhere if he doesn't win with Josh Allen, because there's no excuse. You got James Cook, he's a top runner in the NFL, and you got Josh Allen, former MVP. There's no way that you should not be winning football games. So I think if they lose the Jacksonville Jaguars, who came from last to pretty much first, them and the Texans, what they've done with the organizations, I think it's wraps to the Buffalo Bills, and I think they'll have to change things up a little bit. So I got the Jacksonville Jaguars winning this one, Jake. All my ETN, I mentioned Trevor Lawrence, we mentioned Olakun, we mentioned a lot of those players who I think are going to show up this week.
Yeah, and by the way, that GM you're talking about came from the Rams, James Gladstone.
Yeah.
If John Schneider didn't have the season he had, I would probably give James Gladstone GM of the year. I went with John Schneider in one of the voting polls that I was a part of, but that was not easy. I think James
Yeah.
Gladstone has that. Jacksonville won 13 games in his first year, and they literally flipped their record from 4-13 last year. Yeah, Jacksonville is in really good shape. But you and I both have Jacksonville winning. We both have the Rams winning. We split on the Packers and Bears. I have a feeling we're going to split on this one. 49ers and Eagles. Where are you on this one, Cam?
49ers and the Eagles on this one, Jake. I'm not going to lie. I got the Eagles winning this one, brother. One thing about the Eagles, that defensive line, they get after it. They get after it. I think this Eagles team, I know they won recently. I know they haven't been looking the greatest this year, but I still think they'll be able to get it done. An issue that was covered up, though, with Eric Kendricks, taking over for Tatum Bethune, I think that's big time. But if Christian McCaffrey stopped, if George Kittle, I don't think George Kittle is going to be stopped like that, Jake. But if Christian McCaffrey slowed down, it's going to be trouble. Trent Williams may be out as well. I think it's going to be trouble for that 49ers team. Brock Purdy, we can't count him out, but I still think that the Eagles get it done. Like I mentioned, that defensive line is brutal. They beat the Rams towards the end of the year on that special teams field goal block by Jordan Davis, and he ran it back for a touchdown. So I think they still have the juice, Jake. It's the playoffs. I think they'll be ready to play. Saquon Barkley, we haven't heard his name that much this year, but I think he'll be able to make it happen. Like Eric Tatum Bethune being out, I think there's a gap in that linebacker room, and so I think he'll take advantage of it and he'll make do.
I mean, they went out and got Kaiser White. They, like you said, they just promoted Eric Kendricks off the practice squad. They are feeling it. None of those linebackers that are going to play this Sunday were on the team in November, so that's what we're looking at.
Good luck, brother. Good luck.
But the 49ers, they've done it all year. They found ways to win. They won 12 games playing in the toughest division in football. Yeah. They have so many guys out, but I trust that the 49ers have the better team. They've played against the better teams. I understand the Eagles might have a little bit more talent right now, but even still, I think the 49ers have enough talent to win this game.
They're battle-tested. They're coached really well.
They are, and they're battle tested. The Eagles defense has become very good. Of course, Vic Fangio, he's one of the best to ever do it. He can give you fits, but I think the 49ers are going to be able to run the football against the Eagles defense. I mentioned that. I think Christian McCaffrey, the Eagles defense has not been great at stopping the run lately. And, Christian McCaffrey is going to need to show up, like I mentioned, but I think he's going to. I don't think he's going to have 2 back-to-back bad games to end this season. I think the 49ers
yards rushing, 23. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Jake.
It's like, and he doesn't do that, right? So, I'm not like a 49er fan here, so let's not get that twisted. But I think the 49ers have the better offense, and I think crazy enough, I know we can talk about how they can just turn it on. The Eagles can turn it. What if the Eagles don't turn it on? Because what if the Eagles don't have the coaching in the offensive room that the 49ers have? And I'm going to bank on that. I trust Brock Purdy more than I trust Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has won a Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts has been, in terms of winning, Jalen Hurts is one of the more winning quarterbacks in this league.
And it's in Philly. It's in Philly too, Jake.
It's in Philly, but I trust Brock Purdy more. I have not been impressed with Jalen Hurts. I've not been impressed with Kevin Patullo's play calling. And I think the 49ers are going to win on a Pinheiro game winner. Give me the 49ers to win this game 26-23.
Okay, I got the Eagles 26-21. And man, it's going to be a hell of a matchup. Like you mentioned, Brock Purdy, you got to give him his respect. But if they stop Christian McCaffrey, it's going to be a brutal one. But looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. One thing I'll just mention here at the end is I think people get way too caught up in that Seattle game, and they only scored 3 points and forget, well, you guys were all crowning them after they beat the Bears. So it's like they have scored a lot of points lately, and then they played against the best defense in the league, or the second best defense in the league, and that game was a 10-point game.
Yeah.
If Christian McCaffrey doesn't drop the football at the goal line, I mean, it could have been a completely different game. I'm not saying the 49ers deserve to win that football game. They were outplayed and probably dominated. But that's how Seattle tried to do it, because Seattle went the conservative approach. They didn't want to put Sam Darnold in a situation where he could lose them that game. So I think in this one, the 49ers have shown they're the better offense. And now you have Fangio, who's putting on a show on the defense. I think it'll be a fun game, but yeah, I'm gonna lean on. I believe Brock Purdy right now is the better quarterback than Jalen Hurts, and I think CMC,
Kendrick Bourne and Ricky Pearsall, they've come along nicely too. I'm not gonna lie, Jake. Those guys can catch that football, brother.
By the way, they didn't have George. Well, they did have George Kittle, probably not 100%, but they didn't have Trent Williams. I think Trent Williams plays, and I know Lane Johnson's probably going to play for the Eagles, but he might not be 100%. So we'll see what ends up happening. But I got the 49ers, and we move on to the second to last game. The primetime game on Sunday should be a real good game. And I keep going back and forth on this, but I think I have an idea of who I'm going to go with. The Chargers head to Foxborough. Playoff football is back in Foxborough. And this is where teams went to just essentially die for the better part of 15 years. Yeah. Obviously, Tom Brady. So, Cam, who do you got in this one?
Man, I got the Patriots. If that's an easy dub. I think this Chargers offensive line, they allowed too many pressures and too many sacks. I think they were number 32 in the league, and in the playoffs, that's not going to work, my guy. Harold Landry, Robert Spillane, I know those guys are dealing with injuries, so that can be an issue, right? You talk about the 49ers defense, them having a hole at the linebacker position. Well, hey, the Patriots do as well. But I think at the end of the day, great coaching will be able to overshadow that. But I think the Patriots get this done, Jake. I think Drake May, if he's the MVP versus Matthew Stafford, they're gonna have to win this game. I mean, if people are talking all that smack about Drake May, who I feel like during the middle of the season, Jake, I mean, I know he threw 8 interceptions similar to Matthew Stafford, but at one time I was like, is he giving up this football game? The way he was throwing the footballs to the other team, I was like, Jake, we have to look at him for sports betting, because I know a lot of Patriots fans, they're going hard for him right now. They're sending him text in the group chat, Jake. I can't stand it. They're like, well, Matthew Stafford has Puka. I'm not trying to hear none of that. If Drake May's the guy, you go beat the Chargers, full stop. And so I think it's important that we see Drake May do his thing. I think that running back room with Ramondre, and what is it? Is it the running back is Hendrickson? They're going to have to show up as well. So if they show up, I think this Chargers team won't have a chance. I know you had the defensive back from the Chargers as your top performer this week. So he's going to show up. Derwin James all over the field. Khalil Mack's going to be healthy this game. He's going to show up, but I don't think it's going to be enough for the Patriots. And so they win this one, Jake. I'm going to say 31 to the Chargers, 28.
Yeah, I think it's really fascinating because on one hand, like in totally justifiable, they're without Rashawn Slater, they're without Joe Alt. The Chargers don't have their 2 tackles. And the Chargers, they are susceptible to giving up pressure. But on the other hand, New England doesn't really generate a ton of pressure. Their leading pressure guy is Caleb Von Chason this year, kind of a throwaway. For a lot of teams throughout his career. He's literally leading the team in pressures. And you don't really have anybody that's winning a ton, as far as pass rush win rate. I mean, Harold Landry, he's got off to a great start, but then he kind of tailed off. So it's interesting because I don't love the Patriots pass rush right now. And I do love the Chargers pass rush right now. I love what I'm seeing from Tuli Tuipulotu. I love what I'm seeing from Khalil Mack, right? So it's interesting. I tend to believe that the Patriots are going to win this game, but I think the Chargers have a real shot, Cam. A team that really doesn't make any sense, again, considering the lack of those tackles, but they have just found a way to continue to truck along. This is a team that ends up winning 11 games. And it's truly fascinating to me. The Chargers, the biggest thing is, are they going to be able to run the football? We know that you love a certain running back on the Chargers, Omarion Hampton.
Yeah.
Are they going to be able to run the football? If they can, it's going to make it easier for the pass rush. It's going to make it easier for Justin Herbert. If they can do that, they really have a shot, because also the question is, can Jesse Minter shut down Drake May? I'm not expecting to see a great game from Drake May. I'm just not. I think this is the toughest defense he's faced so far this season. And I think the Patriots are better at home. You know, and that's the thing. Like, I think Jesse Minter in this defense has a chance to give him fits. It's why I think that, you know, you look at Derwin James, and I think he's going to be a top performer. I just think we've seen it before. Drake May got into a little bit of an issue with Tampa. They found a way to overcome it. I think they're going to find a way to overcome it, but I think it's going to be a really close game. I don't share the same sentiment. I think they win 24-20. And it's going to be
talking about the Chargers win it 24-20?
No, I think the Patriots win it close one, 24-20.
Okay, and I forgot to mention Rondé Gasson as well. The second, I think he's going to show up for Justin Herbert. He always does. But that offense, it's not going to be enough, brother. I think the Chargers, they started off strong, and then they just went up and down. That after Joe Alt getting injured, Jake, it just kaput. I mean, things just dropped. So, like you said, they found ways to win, but I just don't think they'll get it done today.
Yeah, that's fair. And we go on to the final game, and then we wrap up our wild card coverage here. Houston Texans taking on the Steelers. And man, if you like betting on the under, you will love this game, because I think this is going to be an absolute snooze fest. I do think the Texans win this game, Cam, but I think it's going to be a boring one. I think it's going to be ugly. I think they have the best defense in the game, the Houston Texans do. And I'm not going to act like their offense matches that, because it just doesn't. But it's not going to matter. Rodgers put up a valiant effort without Metcalf, sent his Steelers to the playoffs. Metcalf is back, but I don't know how much that's going to matter with Houston's suffocating run defense, especially on the road. And then you have that, the back end of the secondary. I'm expecting the Texans to play it safe, run the football, manage the time of possession, and win an ugly 16-6 game on the road. That's how Texans want to win. That's how they want to win. I think their average margin in a loss, teams are scoring 16 points.
Okay. So in that case, I'm going Texans 17, Steelers 14. You mentioned a snooze fest. I totally agree. Jake, that Ravens Steelers game though might have been the best of the year. I mean, just the performance. I think Lamar heard you say he's not performing well this year. He's not doing shit. Well, hey, that guy, Jake, he balled, brother. I mean, that was amazing to see. And at one point, you look at his teammates aren't as great as he is, right, Jake? The last 3 years, they've dropped the ball at the red zone, in the end zone. It would be Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, and now the kicker missing the kick. I mean, there's always something going down. Well, I guess Harbaugh had to pay for it, right? His teammates might not be as great, but Harbaugh is going to have to pay for their shortcomings. And so, like I mentioned with the Bills, I think they're in the same situation. If they don't win this game, Sean McDermott might have the same fate. And so, got these great players, but going back to the Texans. I was just going to riff there, but that's kind of, it is what it is. This Texas team, I think they get it done. I think CJ Stroud, we talk about Davis Mills as well, the things that they've done without their starters in, I think it's been really impressive. You talk about Tank Dell as well, how he's been out most of the season. So just to see what they've done with that team, and even the defense, man, just crushed it. So I got them winning this one. The Steelers, I think their run game with Warren and Gainwell, it's been decent. It's been better than I thought it would be, Jake. But I don't think it's going to be enough for this Texans defense. Like I mentioned, Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter being the guys that really cause pressure. 15 sacks on the season and 12 sacks on the season has been impressive. And then we can't forget about TJ Watt on the other side. But I still think the Texans get this one done and beat the Steelers.
Yeah, and by the way, you mentioned Tank Dell, so I had to look it up, and apparently there is a chance he's trying to come back for the playoffs. Who knows if that's even going to happen, but yeah, I mean, I'd love to see it. I think he's an outstanding player. He's probably done for the year. That was a really bad injury. Torn ACL, MCL, and LCL. His knee just basically exploded. So, that sometimes... And honestly, praying for Malik Neighbors, because I don't know if you saw he's still using a cane. That's not good.
Yeah, you got to start preparing for what's life like after ball. You know what I mean? I thought for some reason I thought TJ Watt was going to be doing the same thing with the pierced lung, a collapsed lung. But hey, he's back. He's back in plan. But yeah, bro, I think That's why it's so important guys get guaranteed money, that they are smart about their assets, because you can be the top of the mountain one day and then have to climb back down that mountain. I think Jameis Winston gave him that tip, is like, why not be the guy to start back over, right? You go up a mountain, you're number one, you got to climb down, find a new path, and make your way back up. So if that way back up is not with the team and you're doing something else to move your life along and you're healthy, so be it. But yeah, man, player safety, that's key, brother.
Absolutely. So let's do a quick recap for those of you who are just joining us or skipped over after. All right. So Cam's bracket, based on his answers, he has the Rams playing the Seahawks, and he's got the Eagles playing the Bears in the divisional round. And then the divisional round on the AFC side, he's got the Broncos playing, who do you have? The Texans.
Texans, yep.
And the Patriots playing the Jaguars.
Patriots playing the Jaguars, yep.
I have the Seahawks hosting the Packers and the Rams hosting the 49ers. And then I have the Jaguars. I have the Broncos hosting the Texans and the Jaguars hosting, or Patriots hosting the Jaguars. So very similar, just like every episode, we have two things that we disagree with. That is us in a nutshell. It's always two things. Very slight, but just enough for us to not be like, oh, I agree too. You agree, I agree. Like,
we can't have the same shit going on every week. So yeah, it's nice to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, no, exactly. So sounds like that Packers Bears game is going to be a winter wonderland game potentially. Could be some snow involved, and I actually think that that benefits the Packers, man. High octane passing attack of Ben Johnson. I don't know if they're doing that in the snow, so we'll see.
Yeah. Jake, what's your favorite game of this week from all of these? What's the one that you're like, hey, if someone has to tune into, which one are you locking? If they all played at the same time, what's your number one?
Well, the Rams fan in me would say the Rams, but
sorry, outside of the Rams.
I think it's kind of a tie between the Jaguars and Bills and the Packers and Bears, because I think they drastically changed the bracket. Because instead of the Broncos hosting the Texans potentially, now the Broncos would be hosting the Bills if that game goes differently than you and I think, right? And that's a completely different animal because they played last year in the playoffs. And then if the Packers win, like I said, Seattle hosts the Packers. They've played in the playoffs in the past. And the Rams would literally have a home playoff game if the Eagles lose. But if the Eagles the Packers lose to the Bears, well, now it really changes things because, now the Bears essentially, it maintains that, okay, the Rams would probably go to Seattle, the Eagles would probably go to Chicago. It's very interesting because I think those are the two biggest games. I mean, obviously 49ers, Eagles, I think those are the three most important games because... Okay. And you could argue, I mean, the Rams-Panthers is huge too, because the Panthers beat the Rams. Now, Seattle, San Francisco, Philly, like that road gets a lot easier with the Rams out of the books. And then it's kind of the same thing, though, if the Chargers upset the Patriots. So I guess, Cam, really, they're all kind of crazy when you think about it. I mean, you want to get the Texans out if you're an AFC fan and you're not a Texans fan. You want the Steelers to win. If you're an AFC fan, I don't think you care who wins between Patriots and Chargers. Maybe you want the Chargers to win. I think
absolutely. You absolutely want the Chargers to win. You don't want to see.
I think you want Jacksonville MVP to win if you're an AFC, because you're not looking at it like, are the Jaguars the better team? Yes. You're looking at like, do I want to play Josh Allen? No.
Yeah,
they're both. Like that's what you're looking at as.
They're both spooky to me. That 3 versus 6, that Bills and Jags, I think either one of those could win the championship. And I don't think any team wants to see them. You know what I mean? The Jacksonville Jaguars, they haven't been here before. Why would you want to play a team that's never been here before, has been on a hot streak? That, to me, is the game to watch of the week. And if I go to the NFC side, I think that that Bears and Packers game, like you mentioned, that can't be biased to go to the Rams, but that Bears and Packers game is the one that we haven't seen before. We have seen the Rams in the playoffs in the Super Bowl. We have seen the 49ers and the Eagles. We're kind of tired of those teams a little bit, right? So you look at that Bears and your Packers, you're like, the Bears? And so those are the spooky games, I would say, and that I would turn on out of all of them.
Yeah, and the Texans Steelers is the game. Like, if you just don't like offense, sign up for that.
Yeah. You want to take a nap at halftime, or be like the first half, like take the nap, but then it'll get interesting in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, or if you want to watch textbook defense, coached by one of the best coaches in the league, in D'Amico Ryans, well, there you go. Because
then the other side, you got Art over there who's not doing the best with that defense over the Steelers, who turned the ball over nicely, but they're just not the best. But I agree. You want to see Aaron Rodgers kind of his last hurrah, man. So Mike Tomlin, let's talk about the coaches really quick, Jake. Mike Tomlin, he has to win this game. I'm looking at that matchup. I'm looking at the Bills matchup. Sean McDermott has to win that game. And then I think for the 7th and 2nd, 2 new coaches. So, the Chargers and Patriots don't have to worry about that. But like you mentioned, LaFleur, he has to win that game against the Bears. And then Shanahan's okay. Talking about the Eagles matchup. I think he has to win that. Well, he went to the Super Bowl last year. I think they're pretty safe. And then Sean McVay, he's fine against the Panthers. But yeah, man, that AFC lineup is looking nice.
All right. I will say LaFleur has to win to keep his job.
Yeah.
Sean McDermott is a 50-50. Like, if they lose, like, I wouldn't be surprised they kept him, but I wouldn't be surprised they fired him.
Yeah.
Shanahan's safe, obviously. He should win Coach of the Year. Cohen's obviously safe. Canales, McVay, Ben Johnson, obviously. Nick Sirianni's safe. Patriots, I mean, come on. Mike Vrabel's safe.
Yeah.
Harbaugh's safe. Yeah, I think I think Tomlin's safe. I think Tomlin getting to the playoffs is all. The Steelers don't have these crazy high expectations. They just don't. There are organizations that just don't have those. As long as you get to the playoffs, it's like you're good. And I don't think they're going to look like, man, this team, we should have been so much better. Like, are they better than Houston? No, they're not. Yeah. So, I think that's also what you have to take into account. Like, I think the Packers have a worse record than what they are. Like, I think they should have a better record than that. Matt LaFleur could get fired. If I'm putting any sort of money down, I would say none of these coaches are getting fired because LaFleur is going to win. I think McDermott loses, and I still don't think he gets fired. Yeah. I don't think anybody gets fired. I think Tomlin loses, and they still don't fire him. Maybe he walks away from the game. That's certainly possible.
Yeah.
I don't see him getting fired, though.
Okay, that's good. And to be fair, caveat, we don't want anybody to be fired. We're just saying, hey, things are crazy right now. So if someone wants to be sugar happy, then that's what it looks like. And then also to Sean Payton, really quick before we end the show, Jake, gotta pay respects because we were talking hella smack about Sean Payton, the way he handled his onboarding, to the Broncos. He was talking mess. We didn't like that, but the man's winning football game. So good job. Good for you, brother. Good for you.
Yeah, we'll see. Number 1 seed. I think they beat 9 teams starting a backup quarterback. So we're going to see if that comes against them, No, yeah, I don't mean it as like disrespect. I mean, I'm seriously like, huh. I found that out the other day and I was like,
are you a pretender? Are you Sean Payton? Are you the pretender that we know you are?
Come on, Sean Payton. We know, open the door. We know you're in there. No, I can't.
No, it's good ball though. It's good ball, brother. I'm excited, Jake. It's been a great season so far. Like I said, we're at the playoffs, so things are gonna wrap up here pretty soon. So for y'all that have been listening, Jake, the lovely JE Live fans, they've been showing up big time.
Hell yeah, best in the business. No, we appreciate you guys. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Go tell somebody about Off the Edge. It helps our growth and probably helps them out if they want to show that talks about every single team. Well,
Yeah.
if you didn't make the playoffs, then you didn't get talked about. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Tell your mama. You know what I mean? She may not be a big fan, but we break it down so where your mama can understand.
Yeah. There you go. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So,
Little rhyme.
yeah, we'll be back probably same time, I would imagine, for the divisional round.
Yeah.
And this is how it's going to work, Cam. There's a lot of games this week.
Yeah.
You want more coverage for your team, not you fans. We're talking about the teams here. You want us to talk more about you, get on to the next round. It eliminates the field, makes it smaller, and we'll delve into even more, do more of a deep dive of those games. So get to the divisional round if you want more analysis. I don't know what else to say.
Especially the Ravens and Cowboys, folks, that just hopped in the chat.
Oh, my God. Anyway, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week. Everybody enjoy the wild card week.
Peace.